friends. Welcome to episode 40 of Activist Collective. It is December 18th, and everybody is just about to head out on a winter break, Christmas break, holiday break, whatever you call it. And I don't want to bring the group down. I really don't, but something has been weighing on my mind really heavily about the future of this nation. There's a very slow calling to our young people taking place, and they're using the red pill movement to do it, and they're using Turning Point USA as the catalyst, the driver. I've made videos on this before, but I only get 3 minutes to make the most impact, and I think that right now I would like to talk about it in depth with you if you'll sit with me for a minute, especially if you have children who will be moving up to middle school, moving up to high school, going out on their own in college. Turning Point USA has decided to not shift gears, but to try to make a bigger impact by reaching and accessing your children via the high school level now. Now, Turning Point only used to go to college campuses. Because they had freedom of speech on college campuses, right? This was a precedent set during Vietnam when kids were speaking out and they tried to silence kids from using political propaganda on college campuses. So Turning Point USA used that Supreme Court ruling that said, yes, you can talk politics. You can do that on college campuses. So Turning Point USA used that, and they went to college campuses and they debated children using, manipulative, deceptive tactics for debate, using manipulative debate tactics. These are things that Charlie Kirk was trained in, and he could easily overcome somebody who was going to step up to that microphone and try to play morality police with him. He could use these debate tactics, and he knew them well. So now they are challenging your high school students on their website. On their website, it says, here's how to set up a chapter of Turning Point in your high school. We'll give you the forms. We'll give you everything you need. We'll even give you access to somebody from our own company who will help you. Most high schools need a teacher sponsor to help them lift off the ground a student-led group, and there's a bunch. These middle schools, high schools, they start gathering kids and they make their own groups, like the LGBTQ group, the Jewish Student Alliance group, things like that. But none of those groups, no matter how much they say they do, are pushing any political agenda whatsoever. Turning Point USA is pushing a red pill political narrative. And they are entering your children's high schools faster and faster. I live in a part of Michigan that is so blue that if you walked around my area wearing a MAGA shirt, you wouldn't get very far without being schooled, made fun of, taunted. Like, that's how blue this area is. And in this area, there is a Turning Point chapter in the Royal Oak High School. And it's branched out to other local high schools, from what I'm told. And the school district says, well, we can't do anything about it. They have a freedom of speech. This is a religious and political organization entering your school. This isn't student-led, no matter how much you want to fucking say that it is. This is not student-led when Turning Point USA is pulling the strings, giving them the talking points, providing them the literature, giving them someone to teach them how to do it. That's not a student-led group. That is not student-led. That is a political and religious organization infiltrating your school and attacking your children's minds and trying to pull them into this red pill culture. And the school districts are doing nothing, America. The school districts are doing nothing. And it's frustrating to me to watch as our school districts are refusing to protect our children. They have no backbone. They have no spine. No, we don't want any pushback. We don't want any of that. They're afraid of bomb threats and lawsuits and all. Where are the people to stand up for our kids? We can show up at these meetings. We can show up at school board meetings. But then do what? Yell at them in their faces and then they'll go, well, First Amendment. This is not First Amendment protected speech in a public school. Freedom, where freedom of religion is supposed to reside. And you've got children handing out flyers to join their political and religious organization. This cannot work. This isn't a college campus. Not anyone can walk onto a school campus, a high school campus, and spread religious propaganda. And that's what these Turning Point groups are doing. This isn't a student-led group, friends. It is a Turning Point-led group. Using your children as tools to do it, and there's got to be something we can do. I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But goddammit, I am willing to take it to the Supreme fucking Court. This is crazy. Keep your religious bullshit and indoctrination and grooming out of our goddamn schools. You want to go to college campuses? Go. Those are adults. These are children, not adults, unable to sign a goddamn contract. And we can't even get the simplest fight. We can't even get them to fight for our children, and it's driving me insane. We've got Peter Thiel. We've got Turning Point USA, Elon Musk, all pushing this red pill narrative on our children, and they think it's so cool. They think it's cool. They really do. Young boys are not being taught. Young men are not being talked to at home by their parents because they're not on social media. They're not hearing my podcast. They don't understand the dangers of this. The dangers of this are forcing your children into this lifestyle of evangelical Christianity. The woman's in the home. That type of shit. Not just the woman's place is in the home, but I mean, we're pushing evangelical hate. Evangelical hate on LGBTQ communities, the master race, the replacement theory, all of these things. Charlie Kirk pushed the replacement theory. These are all words that are being dropped, hints into the literature, hints of this sort of shit being put into the literature. This is crazy, it's insane, and it's got to stop, and it starts in the home, friends. We can't stop Turning Point USA from entering these schools because our schools won't listen, our school districts have no backbone, the school boards won't stand up, nobody's standing up for these kids. And there's some teachers in these school districts who are willing to be, the teachers would have to say no. Teachers would have to say no. And in the most liberal of school districts, they found a teacher to do it. Some stupid fucking cuck willing to bend over and help these kids get these Turning Points chapters in their schools. So if we can't stop it there, we got to stop it at home, friends. Tell your sons, tell your daughters, if I find out that you have joined a Turning Point USA group, you're going to write me a 10-page fucking essay on what Turning Point is and what their future goal is with you. And if you're not going to do that, I'm taking your phone, I'm taking your car. I'm taking all of the things that you think are amazing that I provided to you. Like, look, have your religion. Have your political beliefs. But if your religion and your political beliefs are preaching hate that I never taught you, then you can pay for your shit on your own. Sounds terrible, but we've got to stop this in its tracks. If my daughter came home to me and said, I'm joining a Turning Point USA group, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. Parents have got to have the gentle conversation, have the real conversation. And if that's not working, you're writing me a 10-page essay on what Turning Point is, what they stand for, the points that Charlie Kirk himself debated for and against, and how that affects your mom, how that affects your sister. And in the long run, pushing these policies that this group pushes, how will that affect your life? Son, will you be able to afford college on your own? Because once this all falls into the place the way they want it to, mommy can't help you pay for college. So how is this all going to affect you in the long run? We don't spend our days raising our kids to be free thinkers, to have Turning Point USA come in and nail their mind down to a cross. No, thank you. And I know a lot of you out there will probably say, that's kind of harsh, Jess. That's kind of harsh, Jess. I thought we wanted them to think for themselves. We do. Thinking for yourself means being able to articulate in a meaningful way why it is that you now all of a sudden hate gay people when your best friend was gay, or your moms are gay, or whatever it is. And I guarantee you, they won't be able to articulate it, because they'll come back with some Turning Point USA. Well, it's not in the Bible. Okay, well, I want a 10-page essay now on what the Bible says, who translated the Bible, when that one particular sentence was added, and who translated it. I mean, make them think deeply about this. Because Turning Point USA is coming in and telling them, if you want to be a man, you're going to join the group. A man works and a woman's place is in the home, and the man plays football, and the men are tough and manly and manly and manly, and you're a pussy and you're a pussy. And they're dealing with this and contending with social media, and now they've got their friends and their peer pressure. And I fear for people with sons. Their sons they're coming for them. Your son is a target. They want their brain, and they want it locked in and riding along with them on the road to fascism. And your sons in high school are the easiest target. If they can get them early, they've got them for life. And that is why Turning Point USA has turned its focus from college campuses to high school social clubs. It's very, very real, and it's very, very dangerous. They want your sons, and they're coming for them. So it's going to start in the home, having very real conversations about what this means, what they understand about it. It can't be a conversation in passing. I'm saying come with the pages. Come with the information, the documentation. Tell them if this pops up in your school and they ask you to join, it's a no thank you, no thanks, and move on. And if your friends are peer pressuring you, it's a, hey dude, friends don't peer pressure friends to join things they don't believe in, right? If we were really friends, you wouldn't ask me to do this. I don't want to do this. They have to be strong enough to say no, and that strength comes from mom and dad, or moms or dads, or whoever's raising them. That strength comes from their trusted adults, knowing that you will be there to have their back when they make that tough decision. It's very, very serious, friends. And I know a 3-minute video on TikTok does not relay the importance of the long game that they are playing here. Okay, Turning Point USA is coming for your sons, and they thought they thought college wasn't enough, so they took it back to high school. And your schools do not care. They would rather the parents shut up about it and not give them grief because they don't want to deal with it. Get in their faces, get to the school board meetings, and make them articulate how allowing a religious hate group in your school is not some sort of violation. Okay, and it is. This is not a student-led group. It is a Turning Point USA-led group who provides them the materials and a point person to help them set the group up. Go to the TPUSA site. It's right there. It's the one thing. It's the one thing you see. They're not even going after colleges anymore. They want your kids in your high schools. All right, we got to switch gears, but I need you to understand the importance of what I'm telling you. It's that big a deal. This is the long game, and they're targeting your sons. Some daughters, but I mean, these daughters are girls who just follow along with their boyfriends and stuff, but they want your sons. That's who they're targeting. Okay, so I want to talk about Dan Bongino leaving. Okay, Dan Bongino is the second in command at the FBI under Kash Patel, with absolutely zero qualifications to do that job. He was a cop, but what were your, like, a beat cop and a detective to do two very different jobs. Okay, when you're an FBI agent, you have to do both. And you have to understand national security on a whole different level. When you are an FBI agent, you go to an entirely different school, Quantico. I mean, you're going to, you have to do an entirely new, like, police academy, but it's the FBI academy, and you learn shit that no one else learns. So throwing these douchebags in these roles and leaning heavily on the already existing knowledge of the FBI agents who did the work is such a slap in the face to the FBI agents. So let me just say, if there's ever an FBI agent who hears this, I see you, dude. I see that these do-nothing lackeys who have no qualifications to do this job come in and boss people around. And same with the military, same with Pete Hegseth. They have no knowledge, and they lean so heavily on your knowledge, sucking it from you, demanding from you, and treating you like shit. This, I hope, is just a moment passing, a blink in time in the long career that you will have serving our nation. Dan Bongino was a cop. He's no longer a cop, and then did a podcast that was full of conspiracy theories where he bashed the FBI, insulted them, and claimed they were doing shit they weren't doing. And then when Donald Trump gets in office, he gives Kash Patel, a podcaster, the job as head of FBI. Kash Patel gives Dan Bongino the second in command. And now we've got two douchebags crashing the ship into the shore. It's fucked. But Dan Bongino leaving, I think, is serendipitous. Because what's coming out, supposedly, after Christmas break? What's coming out? Yeah, those fucking Epstein files. Dan Bongino railed against those, not against, but for showing the world those Epstein files. And a commenter of mine made it, a great statement, very true. He's probably seen the entirety of those files. He's seen what's in them. He said all of the people in those files were horrible people. Kill them all, hang them. Public hangings. That's what these people were saying. And now he sees who's in them. The man he held up on a pedestal, the man that he said was God, King, and Jesus, the man who can do no wrong. Did you see the pictures? I saw the pictures. Some of them anyway. The sex tools that were almost guaranteed to have been used on minors, little girls. And Dan Bongino saw what was in those files and who. So I say this to Dan Bongino. You don't owe those men a goddamn thing. If they hide in the darkness, you put a flashlight right in their fucking face and you tell us what's in those files. Don't hide them. Don't hide them. Because they're going to redact names. They're going to withhold photos from us. They're going to spend their break making sure that Donald Trump is nowhere in those files doing anything wrong. They're not going to take him out of the pictures completely because we already know they were best friends. And removing him completely would look like they didn't remove him. Or did remove him, excuse me. So I think Dan Bongino leaving is serendipitous. I think this is probably some sort of a protest, as one of my commenters said. They're right. This is absolutely a form of protest. He's still a piece of shit. But hopefully he doesn't keep that knowledge to himself if they refuse to show the people, right? Moving on, those pictures by Vanity Fair Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's no way that those were not intentionally done. You can see in J.D. Vance's the tattooed on eyeliner. That man has tattooed on makeup. Clearly tattooed on. And you know what? Good Trouble, who is a professional photographer, made a video. It's a very short video, but it talks about the meaning behind the photos and what he was doing. So I would like to share that video with you. Credit all goes to Good Trouble for his knowledge and sharing this with the universe.
Hi, I'm a professional photographer. I have a whole ass degree in this, and I would like to talk about these photos. You've all seen this one. We've been gripped, transfixed by the detail and brutality of this fucking image. But I want to talk about the rest of them because they are just as fucking brutal. Chris Anderson is smashing two perspectives here. These intense, almost microscopic photos where all the subjects cannot possibly hide, and these sort of isolating shots unveiling the sort of true nature of their role in this administration, which is incredibly small and isolating and frail. I just want to call your attention to a couple of moments here. This seemingly as if he's holding a cane or a walker and he's leaving all of these little gritty, disgusting details, but the mirror image of this. And back here, if you look closely, this sort of shadowy figure in the background pulling the strings quietly behind the scenes. The incredibly gaudy fake veneer revealed, oftentimes centering themselves in this perceived importance. This little moment back here also of this guy just looking disapprovingly at this. They're images of isolation and powerlessness. Whatever the fuck this is. Small, frail, isolated. A nod to Donald Trump's posture here. This is photojournal.
I just love Good Trouble. Absolutely. He doesn't know I exist. We are not friends. I have followed him for years and years and years, long before I was still making bread on this app, TikTok, when I followed Good Trouble. He's a very intelligent man, a good person to have on our side. So thank him for that video and that insight. I hope that those Vanity Fair pictures dug at them in a way that they couldn't hide from. That they laid in bed that night and stewed over the fact that the American people saw them up close and in real time for who they are. We saw every pore in her racist fucking bitch face. It was beautiful. Like I said in my video, give that dude a Pulitzer or something. I don't know. What did they give him for photojournalism or photographic excellence? Give it to that guy. Perfect. This administration is fraudulent in every sense of the word. Fraudulent. You got here fraudulently. You appointed frauds to every level of government. You appointed frauds to SCOTUS before you left. The Heritage Foundation made sure, Leonard Leo made sure that we were going to put frauds in every fucking level. Christian nationalist frauds, liars, people with no moral character, but they claim, because I hold this Bible and I read its scripture, I now have the moral high ground. Fuck you. Fuck you, SCOTUS. Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you, White House. Fuck you, Pam Bondi. Fuck you. The American people fucking hate you. You are the loudest minority of people, and MAGA is falling away from its base by the thousands every day for what you've done. Now there's still those idiots that are still hanging by his side because I'd like to see what he can do with the country. He's fucked it over in a year. Imagine where we'll be in 3. We're screwed, man. We're screwed. David Gentile was the guy he just pardoned who ran a Ponzi scheme and stole millions from Trump voters. In fact, he stole millions from Trump voters. He was 2 weeks into a 7-year sentence when Donald Trump pardoned him. Now, the fun fact, David Gentile went to prison with another guy. They were partners in crime, stealing millions from unsuspecting old ladies, parents who gave away their kids' college funds, people who gave away their retirements, people who gave them their last $100,000 to save their business. Most of them voters for Trump. And some of them interviewed in the LA Times were like, yeah, I'm gonna stand by him. And I hope that I can sue him civilly for the money I lost. I mean, you pussy. You fucking pussy. And not a pussy. Pussies are strong. You're a tender ball sack. Every last one of you who can't stand up and say, you fucked me over, and now you're letting the guy who fucked me over off? Fuck you too. Where's your fucking backbone, America? You make me sick. You MAGA chodes who are getting fucked over by this dude, and you're like, I'm just not man enough to own up to the fact that I made a mistake. Own it. Own it. You're a grown up in America. You haven't lived enough of a lifetime to learn that you get more respect by owning your mistakes than by hiding and riding it through. He said the dude, what's his name? Oh my God, I lost the one dude who said he was going to stick with him. He said, I'll just hope one day that Donald Trump will realize what he's done and apologize. What? Apologize? Do you know who you're talking about? Donald Trump hasn't apologized for a thing in his life. It is a point that he makes in his books. Never apologize. Never say you were wrong. It's in his book. You think that man's going to apologize to you? I got off on a tangent. David Gentile went to jail with another person. This administration is the one who prosecuted him. It was Donald Trump's DOJ who prosecuted those two men. And now Caroline stood up in front of the nation and said, well, there were some prosecuting errors that meant that we had to free him. Well, why is the other guy still in jail? They were tried together for the same crimes, jailed together, and only one got pardoned? Just one? Sounds like nepotism to me. Anyway, so my last words of wisdom are to our fellow MAGA chode Americans. This message is to you. Donald Trump doesn't care about you. Donald Trump never did care about you. He cared about earning your devotion. And he did so by making you feel important, one step up from a pig. Literally. He made you feel like it was okay to be racist because he was racist. It was okay to be mean because he was mean. And that is all you have in common. He'll never understand you. He's never for the working man. He doesn't stand for veterans. He doesn't stand for our military service members. He hates you all. He hates you all. He calls you basement dwellers. Every last one of you. He only needs your devotion. You are cannon fodder and trigger pullers and easily replaceable. A man got shot at his own staged fucking shooting. Every life is expendable in his eyes as long as it helps him win. It's time to drop MAGA. It's time to walk away. It's time to own your mistakes. As one of the most recent and biggest MAGA supporters said, her name's Patriot Blonde. She got a lot of followers on X. She said that she made the biggest mistake of her life, and MAGA was a psyop. If one of the biggest MAGA followers, this woman would have done anything for MAGA and the base, and even now, she has seen MAGA for what it really is. It's your turn now, MAGA. Join the resistance and stand up for the country and the Constitution. Stop letting racism get in the way of hurting other Americans, because you aren't the master race, bitch. Get over that. Get over that. White people have done horrific things, horrendous things in strokes of luck to become the white supremacist bullshit assholes that you are. And it's time to drop it, because look at Caroline. Look at what it does to your fucking skin. Turns you inside out and ages you prematurely. Join the resistance. Drop the hate. Turn inward and ask yourself, is this really serving my purpose on this earth? You have a short time, and your children have to live here when you're dead and gone, and you have to ask yourself, is this where I want them to be? And is this what I want to help do to my own kids? It's time to leave MAGA. So I was just about to wrap this up and start publishing this podcast when news came across my phone that some FOIA requests had been presented to Bloomberg News, an investigative reporter, and it looks like communications inside the FBI are showing that just as we suspected, they have been redacting. Now remember, they're only supposed to redact the victims' names. Everything else is supposed to stay. But we can go ahead and assume who they're redacting, the powerful, the rich, etc. And I guess if you are a MAGA person and you hear this, if you've ever even thought to stay to the end, you have to ask yourself, who is your government protecting and why? You are the party that have been screaming, protect the kids from the pedos, from the pedophiles, pointing a finger at the LGBTQ, and we've been telling you, hey, this is a deflection. I mean, really, it's projection. This government is protecting pedophiles, rich and powerful men who raped little girls. And that has got to, like, if that's not a deal breaker for you, you're a giant piece of shit. You're a giant piece of shit. Now, for those of you who continue to scream, well, Joe Biden had 3 years, those files were still in dispute, honey. There was nothing they could do. You can't release files that are under investigation. So I digress. I guess when those files are released, we'll see the truth. The truth about who they're protecting, because we'll be able to put those pieces together real easy. So friends, before I go, I got to say the typical. This podcast is free for your enjoyment. All donations are welcome. At the end of this, you'll hear some music and see some QR codes come across your screen. Be ready to scan those. If you wish to make a donation, you can subscribe to my Substack. You can subscribe to my Instagram. Or donations are welcome if you'd rather use a direct link. Those can be found in every single one of my bios on social media. Look for the link tree. Thanks for listening. Remember, we are going to get through this together. We just have to stick together. We will see accountability and retribution. We will. Everyone enjoy your families through the holidays, and I love you. We'll talk soon.